Hello, today we are going to go over how to hit your macronutrients. Okay, so let's take a look and dive right into this. Let's just say that your macronutrients are 123 grams carbs, 40 fat, and 144 grams protein. Okay, those are arbitrary numbers, but we'll just pretend for demonstration purposes that those are yours. So now what I'm going to do is I'm just going to wake up and have breakfast. I'm going to eat pretty much what I want to eat. So we'll say I'll take my supplements. So I take 3 grams of CLA. And when doing macros and counting macros, it's very important that everything is accounted for. Then I'm going to go ahead and have my fish oil, so a teaspoon of fish oil. Okay, add that in there. The tracking software program that you're seeing here on this video is Calorie King. You're free to download that, and there's millions of other free apps that you can use, which will essentially do the same thing. Okay, so now I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to have a couple whole eggs. Okay, so I'm using eggs, whole, raw, fresh. And I'm going to do 2 large. And again, I'm going to cook those up with a PAM or a calorie-free cooking spray. So I'll have 2 of those. I'm going to mix some egg whites in there as well. Okay, so I'll mix 5 egg whites in there. Okay, I'm going to have some grapefruit. Okay, now remember, we always want to, when counting macros, we want to weigh in grams. So if I peel my grapefruit, I put it on the scale, let's just say it weighs 325 grams. And add that to the log. I'm going to go and have some oatmeal. Okay, I'm just going to do the instant dry there. And I'll also have 35 grams of that. Okay, mix that with water. Okay. I'm just going to do a quick look. Alright, so I've had 3.2 grams of saturated fat, 51.9 grams of carbs, so pretty carb heavy, and 37 grams of protein. I'm going to look at what I have left over for the day. Plenty of macronutrients. Fat's a little bit light, but I had those 2 supplements that contain fat. So now I'm going to move into my next meal. Okay, and my next meal would be lunch, so maybe I'll have something, say, like a tuna sandwich. So we'll go to Star-Kissed tuna, canned in water, and let's say I just do 150 grams of that. Again, kind of arbitrary numbers, whatever it happens to weigh. Alright. And then what I'll do is for bread, I'll just do Ezekiel bread. Nothing magical about Ezekiel, but okay, what I'm going to do with that, I'm going to have 2 slices of that. Again, I'm just building a little tuna fish sandwich here. I'm going to chop up some onions. Okay, so say I chop them up and it's 25 grams. Go ahead and add that to the log. Okay. And then, of course, the tuna fish sandwich is going to have some mayonnaise in there. Okay, and what I'm going to do is I'm going to do some light or reduced fat mayonnaise. Okay, so I'm going to do the Hellmann's here, and I'm going to go low fat mayonnaise. 1 tablespoon. Sounds great. Okay, so I'm going to add that in. Okay. If you've watched some of our other videos, pre and post workout, we like to do what's called our super shake. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to grab the super shake, drag it down over here in snacks. Okay, and essentially what the super shake is, it's nothing magical. It's going to be any 2 fruits that you want. Here I'm using grapefruit and strawberry, and then I'm going to blend in some kale and broccoli. Okay, so you can see I'm going to adjust some of the measurements here. Okay, instead of 25 grams, I'll go 20 grams of kale. Okay, and then what I'm going to do is I'm going to have a scoop of Beverly UMP protein in with that. Okay, and I'm going to go a little bit less on the grapefruit just to allow for some carbs for dinner. Okay. All right, now here's where a lot of the magic happens, and this is probably where a lot of people get the most confused when they're trying to hit those macros precisely. So I have 1 meal left. I'm doing a 4-meal per day plan here in this example, and I have 39.7 grams of protein. I have 8.8 grams of fat and 8.8 grams of carbohydrates, ironically. Okay, so what I'm going to do is first I'm going to fill in my carbs, because carbohydrates are going to contain trace amounts of protein in them. Okay, so carbs, 8.8 grams. I guess maybe what I'll do is have some asparagus. I could do potato. I really could do whatever I want. I'm just going to choose asparagus here. I'm going to weigh it raw. So now essentially I'm thinking, how many grams of asparagus gives me 8.8 grams of carbs? Well, I have no clue. So I've got my asparagus here, and let's just say it's 250. Okay, as you can see, 250 gives me 9.9, so a little bit more than I need. So let's say what 225 does. Okay, that gives me 9, which is perfect. I'm gonna try to be Mr. Precision here and get it right on. Okay, so 222 grams of raw asparagus, and I can go ahead and grill it or fry it or cook it any which way I want. Gives me the 8.8 grams of carbohydrates. Okay, so I'm gonna add that to my log. And bam, carbs are now done. As you can see, I've hit my carbs for the day, and that's it. Okay, now I have 34.8 grams of protein and 8.4 grams of fat. I filled in my carbs first because carbs have trace amounts of protein. I'm now gonna go ahead and fill in my protein, because protein, animal source protein, has fat in it. So what I'm gonna do is I'm just gonna do some tilapia. And I'm gonna weigh my tilapia cooked. Okay, you can see it. I'm going with cooked weight here. I could also do raw, but I'm gonna go with cooked weight. As long as we're consistent, it really doesn't matter. Okay, and now again, it comes down to how many grams of cooked tilapia are gonna give me 34.8 grams of protein. Again, I'm not sure. Could be some trial and error. So 100 grams looks a little bit less. 125, a little closer. 135, very close, and you want to be within a gram, so I'm just trying to be super precise here. You don't need that high of a level of precision when hitting your macros, as long as you stay within a gram. Okay, because as you can see, 133 grams of tilapia gives me 34.8, exactly what I need for protein. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to add that to my dinner. And now we're in the perfect scenario, because we have 4.9 grams of fat left. Fat's the easiest macronutrient to find in its pure form. And what I like to do is I like to cook with coconut oil. It's a pure saturated fat, it's half MCT. And that's how I'm gonna fill in the rest of my fat, okay, is with that coconut oil. I'm just gonna go to oil, coconut, okay. And I need 4.9 grams. That's gonna be a teaspoon. Teaspoon's gonna get me close enough. Teaspoon gives me 4.5 grams of fat. I need 4.9. And I'm gonna go ahead and add it to my log. And now you can see I've hit my macros precisely, perfectly. And I know that if I do this repetitively day in and day out, I'm gonna be conditioned and belong on stage from a conditioning standpoint for whatever show or whatever athletic event that I'm preparing for. All right, so there you have it. Now, not all nutritional menus have to be as bland as this one. This would suit me just fine. We had a tuna fish sandwich in there. We had some eggs, fruit, vegetables. That's all fine foods for me. We had some Beverly UMP. I could easily have made a pizza or a hamburger or really anything else fit these macros. It's all just in what you want to eat and how you want to fuel yourself and hit these macros.